Hansen, and for my project, I'm going to be doing an 8-generation pedigree chart. Now, for those of you who don't know, which many of us do being in the church, a pedigree chart is a tree that lists your genealogy based starting with you or your family and then going up to parents and their parents, etc., each generation working its way back. So, first thing we're going to talk about is why would we need to do this, or what's the purpose of doing this? Now, one of the biggest reasons to do it is to make sure that our ancestors are documented for preparing for temple work. And the reason we want to do this is we want to make sure that either if they have done the work and it's not written down, we want to make sure that it's written down so it's kept a proper record of, as it says in the scriptures, to keep a proper record of all the baptisms and temple work that we do. Second work is if for some reason the work hasn't been done, or we found out that, then we can get it all set up and organized so they can go through the temple, get baptized, whatever they need to be done in order to make sure that they're properly put through the temple. And for example, here's a picture over here. It shows only 6 generations. So starting at the far left would be you. Second generation would be your parents. Second generation parents. Third generation grandparents, etc., etc. Go back and back and back, further and further. Now, the reason why this is so important for most people to have is, if you don't realize it, that 8 generations going back just from you. If each person only had 1 child at a time, that'd be 255 people. So, for example, me going back 8 generations, I know my parents are both from families larger than one, so it's going to be a whole lot more than that. So it'll be a very broad spectrum of having people who have a whole large record of your family, so they can know that everything's been done for your work. So the second step is how you actually go about doing this, what resources you would have, things like that, etc. So I know us as a church, we have a couple tools we can use. We can use the Family History Center and indexing, both to go through and find names that we didn't know about. We can go through our records. We can go through things like that and find names that way. And the alternative is there's lots of things out there nowadays that didn't used to be out there, but they're non-church resources like Family Search or Ancestry.com that have records that we as a church may not have. So using multiple resources may give us better results. Now, the final thing we're talking about is why we would be, why, for example, me personally would be suited for this job. Now, I personally have used the Family History Center, so I know what kind of resources they have used. I've been in there multiple times. I know the software. I know how to use it, and so if the only resource it would really take for me personally would be time. It wouldn't cost any money or anything like that. I also have experience using Ancestry and Family Search, so I've used them before. So familiarity with the site is not a big problem there. On the other side, my grandmothers on both sides are active in family history. Like they both go back a few generations. So with their help, we can go back even further and get a full 8-generation pedigree chart going. So we would have all the information of our family going way back. So this has been my presentation. I hope you found it informative, and thank you very much.